Hello and welcome to Gaming with Indie by Design. I'm Stace Harmon, and today we're going to be playing through the first hour or so of Full Throttle Remastered, the up-to-date version of the classic LucasArts 1995 point-and-click adventure game. This is to celebrate the launch of Full Throttle Remastered along with Day of the Tentacle and Grim Fandango Remastered on Xbox Game Pass. And it's also to highlight a collaboration that we have going on with Double Fine Productions, which is a hardback book called 20 Double Fine Years, which is a look back at Double Fine's past, its present and forward to its history, and to speak to the people at Double Fine and long-term collaborators, artists, musicians, programmers, designers, and really to understand the stories and the design philosophies and look at a lot of the art that goes into Double Fine's games. So if you want to find out more about that, you can check out doublefinebook.com. But for now, we're going to jump into Full Throttle Remastered. We've also got videos for Day of the Tentacle and Grim Fandango up on our channel as well, so check those out. But let's just jump in here. And we'll see how much of this we remember.
Whenever I smell asphalt, I think of marine. That's the last sensation I had before I blacked out. The thick smell of asphalt. And the first thing I saw when I woke up was her face. She said she'd fix my bike. Free. No strings attached. I should have known then that things are never that simple. Yeah, when I think of marine, I think of two things. Asphalt and trouble.
So this, I remember this being something of a departure, certainly from my own experience of playing point-and-click adventure games. This came off the back of Day of the Tentacle, which I think was a couple of years before this. And also, I didn't play a tremendous amount of Day of the Tentacle, but Monkey Island, definitely. Secret of Monkey Island. Monkey Island 2. So this was a real departure for me in terms of adventure games, and this was introduced me to this whole cast of more cinematic characters, I think, more traditionally heroic characters and villainous villains, one of which we see here, Rip Burger, who voiced by Mark Hamill. Mark Luke Skywalker Hamill.
It's what's between them that scares me.
Showing his villainous side alongside, I think, the Joker voice that he was doing for the Batman animated series around the same time. I mean, that's a hell of an intro to a character, isn't it?
Now there goes some boys I could ride with. Step on it. Let's find out who they are.
An early slice of Tim Schafer's love of heavy metal, which of course later on manifested itself in the release of Brutal Legend, which also arrived on Game Pass recently. Actually, that's there as well to check out. The notion of opening credits is so I guess it's so cinematic. It's just so sets the tone for the kind of game that we're about to get into. Already seeing some familiar names: Peter Chan on art, duties, Peter McConnell on music. These are people that Tim Schafer worked with a lot at LucasArts, and unsurprisingly also then went on to work a lot with throughout Double Fine's various games, and still is working with both of those collaborators. We spoke to both of them for the creation of our book, various interviews with them and many others. We have some interesting insights on, kind of from an outside-in perspective, because they've always been collaborators, but they've never worked. They both worked at Lucas, but they've never worked at Double Fine. Never been on the payroll of Double Fine, so they have this collaborator status, but haven't worked in-house with Tim for many, many years. It's interesting to hear their take on why things work.
Ben, we're broke.
Yeah?
And if some cash doesn't come our way soon, we're in big trouble.
Relax. I have a feeling something's coming our way. Something big.
So this being the remaster, we can of course switch between the updated visuals and the original. And I think what's one of the really interesting things
stay out here, Rip.
on that front is just how well the original art holds up. For example,
Who's the guy that drove over my car?
like the character here is still conveyed very much so. It's just slightly blockier. Is simply the biggest difference.
Maybe old man Corley got himself in trouble.
Yeah, maybe they
And
took
of course
the
the
old
screen
guy out
ratio.
back and worked him over with a 2x4.
An appealing notion, but improbable. More likely he's boring them to death with some tale of the glory days.
But Malcolm, isn't that illegal?
Not back then, it wasn't.
So who do you ride with these days?
He rides with me. Although I'm sure he'd much rather be riding with your little club.
I told you to wait out in the limo, Rip Burger.
I thought you might like some help with your sales pitch, sir.
Sales pitch?
Yes, we have come here today to offer you and your men employment. Mr. Corley,
I don't think there's any real question or doubt that this guy's a bit shady, is there? I think even his boss, Corley, knows that
you would be well
he's a bit of a scumbag, but a useful one
Not interested.
in the corporate
It's
machine.
fairly obvious that you could use the money.
Listen, I said we're not for rent. The polecats are not goons for hire.
Not even if it were Malcolm Corley's dying wish.
Rip Burger? That does it. I'm gonna...
Hold on there, Malcolm. If you don't mind, I'd like to step outside.
I feel like that's kind of an establishing shot there when we see another member of the Polecats just watching the conversation between Ben and Rip Burger. There's like a sense that, I don't know, he might be feeling like, well, actually, we really could do with the money, but he's kind of just following and sitting back, letting Ben do the talking, Ben being the kind of de facto leader of the group.
Last motorcycle maker in the country. What happens to
That's,
Corley Motors if he dies?
Just establishing character, establishing story through a choice of camera angles rather than any explicit
No dice.
action or writing.
The polecats are not thugs for rent. If you want to buy muscle, you should go find the Rottweilers.
The old man says it's the polecats or nothing.
Then I guess it'll have to be nothing.
And that's your last word?
That's it.
Well, I'd like to make you just one final offer. Bolus, take this coat and go get his motorcycle. We'll have to tie up this little 200-pound loose end. It will need to look like an axe.
But there being a couple of curious
actually thinks I'll leave him
curious inconsistencies with this. He tells Bolus to take his jacket and drive off.
Hey,
But then Ben still has his jacket on when he's in
Your
the...
colleague has decided to accept
in the
our
dumpster.
generous offer after all.
And there's also talk there of killing him and making
As
him
a
look like
matter
an
of
accident,
fact,
and they
he's
just
gone
kind of
on
dump him
route
in
to
the
scout out
in the
the
trash.
route. He did?
Well then, let's roll 'em, boys. Yahoo! Corville, here we come.
Perhaps Ben has a limitless supply of jackets. This being the original remaster, if that's not an oxymoron, the controls here are set up as PlayStation controls. I'm actually currently playing this on a PC, and of course, well, I would imagine that will be changed for the Game Pass release. So the scene opens, we have no characters, but appears there's somebody here. Kind of Terminator style entrance. Complete with jacket. And I think it's here that we first start to see the difference between perhaps a game like this
Open up.
and some of the previous adventure games that certainly I was used to playing. I think probably the original Broken Sword had been released at this point, so there was that. There was like Monkey Island as a reference, Day of the Tentacle a little bit. And here we have the solution to this problem. There's also kind of a character framing device where this is the kind of dude that he doesn't just knock on the door, he kicks it open.
Fixed your door. It was sticky.
Doesn't need any smart
I don't want
workarounds,
no
he just
trouble.
uses
Just
the brute
leave me
force
out of
approach.
this mess.
Well, I'm pretty sure we can't do that. It's just like a quite unique wheel-based action selector as well. What are we going to do here? We're going to lick the bartender? I'm probably just going to talk
Looks
to
like
him, I
you're
guess.
out of customers.
Yeah, your gang took off with those well-dressed gentlemen. So what'll it be, Mac?
Where'd everybody head off to?
What am I, the cruise director? Maybe they're up on the Lido deck.
I think you're in on this whole
Funny
bum
guy.
deal.
Yeah, well, what are you gonna do about it?
Good question.
You know what might look better on your nose?
What?
The bar. Now don't mess around with me.
All right. I got your keys, but I don't know nothing. They had guns. They told me to stall you as long as possible.
Why?
I don't know. I overheard them say something about an ambush up the road.
What else?
Nothing. Look, man, here are your keys, all right? Oh, someone did say something about killing you.
He goes from saying, I don't know anything. Oh, here's your keys. And also, there's an ambush up the road. And oh yeah, they also said something about killing you. It's a lot more helpful than he realises he is. Okay, so we've got our keys. We can head out, use this sweet bike. So it's Full Throttle. I mean, Full Throttle in the stories, as Tim Schafer tells it, Full Throttle and its cancelled sequel, Full Throttle 2,
Destructible.
are somewhat responsible for, perhaps indirectly,
Stop me.
somewhat responsible for the formation of Double Fine Productions, because it was Full Throttle that Tim kind of saw as his baby, and he then heard that there was going to be a sequel and he wasn't going to be working on it, which was LucasArts' prerogative. That was, that was their right to do that with their IP. But Tim talks about how that just didn't seem to make sense to him, that he had created this thing, and
Serious.
it just seemed odd that somebody else would work on it. And it was that notion of wanting to own IP, wanting to have a say over these things that he created, and their future and what might be done with them. Another story he's told is about how there was going to be an animated series of Full Throttle at one point, or there was talks to have an animated series, talks with MTV, and that was kind of LucasArts put the kibosh on that as well. And again, I think that notion of like not being able to do those things that he wanted to do and explore those opportunities that he wanted to explore led Tim Schafer to ultimately create his own company so that he would be able to do those things. It's a great tense moment of, will he make it? Will he make it? And that's great. Like, there's this introduction to the combat in Full Throttle. Very sort of Road Rash-esque combat. And then it isn't kind of the opposite gang member that causes Ben to crash. It's kind of his own hubris. He knocks this guy off the bike, does a wheelie, wheel comes loose, and he ends up in a flaming ball of twisted metal. like a lot of the remasters, or both Day of the Tentacle and Grim, this one also has its own developer commentary, and that's definitely worth listening to.
Man, this is gruesome.
There's some
My editor
insights
better print these in color.
in there that
Now
are
I
worth
have to get you some help, I
reflecting on.
suppose.
Oh,
Ah, quit moaning. I know someone around here who can fix anything.
Something of a scary vision.
what are you?
I'm a mechanic, and apparently a pretty good doctor as well. My name's Maureen.
My name's Ben. Why did you hit me over the head, Marine?
You were in an accident. A reporter found you and brought you and your bike here.
My bike? What have you done with my bike?
Brought it back from the dead. Sort of like what I did with you. I need a little help getting it finished, though.
Who are you?
Maureen, remember? If that's too hard, maybe you should just stick with Mo.
Where'd you learn bikes?
I grew up working on
So we
it
can
with my
explore
dad.
these dialogue
One
options,
summer we did nothing but restore this
speak to
old
Mo,
hardtail together.
find some stuff out
we
about her
scrubbed
past.
every bolt until it shined. But
Ultimately, though, what we're
he took off one
attempting
day
to do
and
here
never
is to
came
get the
back.
bike fixed
So
up
I
to be able to
switched to
resume
coasters.
the chase of his gang, who he understands to be in trouble because there's going to be an ambush somewhere up the road.
I better get going.
Let me know if you need any aspirin or anything.
So this is one of those like mouse over everything to see what lights up. This is pretty devious that this hose is the same colour as the background. Gas can, bit easier to identify. So we've popped these in our inventory. We will just double check with Maureen
Whoa.
what it is we actually need.
Yeah, Ben?
How's it look?
It looks better than it did, but you gotta help me out. The front forks are wasted, so you'll have to get some new ones. And someone stole my welding torch. Can you believe that? I can't finish without one. And last but not least, I patched up your ruptured gas tank, but you're out of fuel and I don't have any.
Okay.
Well, I'll let you get back to work.
Well, let's
Let
set
me know if
about
you need
exploring. I
anything.
think perhaps the first port of call will be to find the welding torch.
Oh, good. You're not dead yet. I might still get a quote.
I heard you saved my life.
Yeah, but don't worry. I wasn't trying to. I was just looking for some nice roadside disaster photos and you helped.
Listen, I've got to stop an ambush.
Ambush? Really? Where?
Get the sense that she's not entirely interested in
Somewhere between here and
helping
Corville.
for safety's
My
sake.
crew
She's
is
more just
escorting some
interested in the story.
VIPs to the Corley Motors shareholders meeting, and there's an ambush waiting for them somewhere up the road.
Yeah?
This is hard for me. I need...
Come on, man, spit it out.
Could you give me a ride in your car? I've got to stop this ambush.
You're right. We have to get to the ambush, all right. But I'm afraid I'm without wheels at the moment.
How did you get us here?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'd better be going.
All right, drive safe now.
Not sure that we entirely believe that, do we? But she now knows that there's an ambush up the road, which may get her some juicy pictures. And so she's off.
Thanks for the lift. Now I got a quote for you.
Okay, so we're going to explore, have a look around this town. That's the original as it looks, as it looked back in the day. So we're going to head over here first. This reminds me very much of the Monkey Island style navigation or movement around the island. That kind of little person just dashing along. So we can see that somebody down here seemingly, either there's a fire or they perhaps they're welding.
Who's out there? Hey! I'm trying to do my art in here, buddy. I don't got time to waste on bums
Channeling
like you.
our inner Ben
Yeah, you
once more.
Mama's face has dripped down into the dirt.
So we seem to have entered an empty trailer. That's curious. Let's see what we can get. I'll take the meat, sure, why not? Have a look at these signs, see what his art
decor has a
is.
strong carnival coin toss flavor to it.
Yeah, but curiously, he doesn't seem to be here. So those of you who have played Full Throttle will spot the deliberate mistake there. What's actually meant to happen is what's about to happen, and that's that I need to be a little bit quicker on the draw.
I got a guy coming to look at my...
And we needed that to happen. So you can have multiple conversations with this dude, find out a bit about him. Again, translates very well from remastered to original.
This view defines true beauty.
Indeed it does. So we've got everything that we need from here, but we can now... There we are. This takes us down to his underground studio. And there's a few different things here that we can take a look at.
I nominate that as least offensive of show.
But ultimately what we're here for.
That's my welding
Ben
torch.
looks so proud of himself.
Oh, it was just lying around.
A pair of forks, little gas, and we're set.
Okay, so we've got the welding torch. So in the spirit of all good adventure games, we also picked up a couple of items there that we're going to need to get the other items on our list, which you will note in true video game tradition is a list of 3 things that we need in order to progress. So we need gas and we need new forks for Ben's bike. We're going to head up here to get the gas first, I believe. It's like the tone and the mood is just so awesome. The music just completely sells it. So there's a lock here, and what do we have? We have a lockpick. One door that Ben can't just kick open. Before we go, we're gonna pick that lockpick up, because you never know. You never know what you might need. So we're gonna head up to the gas cylinder to get try and siphon some gas. As soon as we touch the ladder, we set off the alarm. Curious that there's no alarm on the door, just you can get in, you just can't touch the ladder.
Remain, where are you? Hey, I don't see anybody. Maybe nobody's there. But who set off the alarm, Floyd? Maybe somebody's just fooling with us. You must have missed that last guy. Well, if you could hold this thing still while I'm shooting. I'm going down for a closer look.
It's just again that idea that everybody has... There's a story in everything. That there's an existing relationship between these two cops. There's, you know, a wider world at play that we just get to see a slice of. And I think that's what made so many of the adventure games of the 90s so impactful, and so it made them feel like other worlds, because it made them feel like there was more going on than just a series of things for the character, the player, to do, to tick off. It just so happens that these other things kind of present these opportunities for us to get what we need. So we've got the hose from Moe's, for example. And then we've also got the gas pipe and the canister. And we've all seen this done before, right? I can't say I've ever done it, but would never want to, but...
Who's that down there in the yard?
It's him. Get him.
Where?
Over there. Quick, you go around the other
We got it,
side and
Gus.
we'll have him
all
cornered.
we need.
Where'd he go? Let's call it quits, huh, boss? No, let's call on reinforcements.
We've angered faces. Ben's hiding behind the rocks. Back to Moe's. I like how each time he gets something he wants to check in.
Oh, good. You get this from the gas tower?
Not exactly.
Just a pair of new forks and we're on the road.
Moe's just taking it all in their stride. So, sure, okay, great. You got the next thing on the list. You're not done yet. Okay, now we're going to head up to see if we can find some new forks for Ben's motorcycle. So this is one of the, I guess, the more famous puzzles. It feels at least like it's one of those that survives storytelling and has been mentioned previously. And I think some of that's because it's that more than meets the eye. It's that things operating on a level just slightly beyond the most obvious. Because you think, here, okay, so I've raised this door, I need to run over here to this roller door, but no, as soon as you let go of the chain, it's gonna close. So what we're gonna do instead is use the lock that we got earlier to actually lock the door shut. It's that kind of slightly counterintuitive action that then allows us to pull on the chain, which has no give in it, gets the door locked, and we're up and over.
Junk.
So Todd's junkyard. We've just seen there was a dog there that just ran behind this pile over here, which is... I'm not sure if we can look at it from up here. No, I think he's going to jump down, but this is where we're ultimately heading to get these forks. So let's just go over and have a look and see what's
Just
what.
the kind of forks I need.
Oh, awesome.
Right on top.
There we go. Nice and easy then. What is that? Cerberus.
It's down.
Just one head.
Bad dog.
So this is, I mentioned the directors or the developers commentary rather on this game, and it's definitely worth checking out. One of the stories that Tim Schafer tells throughout that is this car here is his old car that he had at the time that this was being made, and he had, I think he bought it off his dad, and it was kind of a classic car that he loved, but it needed some TLC, to say the least. But he was still driving it around. He went out for lunch in it with some LucasArts employees, and they were sat in it, and one of them asked if he could smell gas, and then there was a small explosion, and there was black smoke pouring out of the engine, and Tim called the fire brigade, and it ended up needing a lot of work to it. I think Tim mentions that it was kind of just residing in a garage somewhere, and so Peter Chan heard about this story, and he kind of immortalized Tim's car in this scene. So this car right here is Tim's old convertible. Okay, so my bad. So we know that there's a dog. We know that we're not going to be able to just go and get the forks that we need. So instead, see if we can find a way to deal with the dog. Okay, so you can see the dog running around. We have this hunk of meat.
Here, Poochie Pooch. Pooch.
I may have inadvertently...
Bon appetit, mud.
Okay. Then we're going to head out and head up to the crane, which, as you may be able to see, has a magnet attached to it. Okay. Through the power of shadow. Yeah, so now we have the car with the troublesome dog in it. I'm going to raise that up as high as we can possibly get it so that we don't encounter any further issues. And now we can head over here and grab the parts that we need.
Nice forks. Where'd you find them?
Right next to the knives and spoons.
Well, that's it. Wait outside for a
So
minute and I'll
corny.
finish her up. I'm working on a surprise.
Hey, I've been meaning to ask you. What's this picture of?
Oh, that's me and my Uncle Pete. He took care of me after Dad split at this place he called the Mink Ranch. And when he died, he left it to me.
You're a mink farmer?
Nah, that place went belly up long before he died. But I still go back there whenever I need to get away for a while.
Okay.
So I think this is one of those, I think you can look at that earlier on to get that story, and it's one of those things that if you hadn't, then that plays out, so that then you have that information for later on. A similar thing happens in Grim Fandango with the fire extinguisher. If you don't pick up the fire extinguisher in the server room, there's a little thing that happens with the maintenance guy that means that Manny picks that up so that you definitely have it for later.
Destroyer class solid fuel recoil booster?
You're serious?
Yes.
But only the vultures.
I have my connections. Now, are you going to try this thing out or not?
Do you indeed, Mo?
Ooh, wish I had a camera.
I wish I had some way of paying you back.
Just beat it, will ya? You're scaring away my regular customers.
Bye, Mo.
Send me a postcard from the ambush.
Unsurprisingly, that's not the last time that Ben and Mo see one another, and something that we talked to Tim about when we interviewed him for the book. And we actually went over to Double Fine Studios in February, just shortly before the world changed. We were speaking to Tim, and he talking about how he felt his writing had changed over the years, and whether be that in the form of it, or the structure, or just the subjects that he chose to write about. And he reflected on that and talked about how he felt that a number of his early games, the writing in his early games at least, things like Grim Fandango and Full Throttle, was that there was, at the heart of it, there was often a love story. Obviously he was also did writing for Monkey Island, and it's a similar thing there. And he reflected on that and kind of talked about how he felt that was reflective of the fact that he was kind of searching. There was an element of searching for love in his life at that time, and that as his life has gone on and he found love happily, and that's things have changed slightly. I mean, there's still love present in a number of Double Fine's games as well. Probably Brutal Legend being a very pertinent example of that. And so yeah, he talked about how his approach has changed, or the subject that he writes about has changed, and he feels that he's now there's more empathy reflected in his writing. He's still got the same sense of humour, but that there's more reflection and introspection perhaps in his writing. So yeah, it's just perhaps more compassion, even if the humour and the topics are broadly the same. It's kind of handled in a different way. So we've come back here. There's an ambush up ahead. Cops. We need to get past them. We know that the last time we touched that ladder, it had this klaxon style alarm going off. So just headed back to make that happen again. And all of the police come. They somehow don't see Ben as they fly over.
Ben, how'd you get behind us?
Where are the suits?
Corley's making a pit stop. He has a bladder the size of a thimble, man.
Ripburger?
Haven't seen him in a while. Ben, man, what's the deal? Did you find something up the road? Are we headed for trouble?
No. We're in it.
Put my head in a basket, 'cause I'd had a tank full.
So Ben
When
knows, of
she
course, that
blew
something's up
my
with Ripburger.
gasket, I surely was thankful till I head for the skies up above.
And I think we're about to find out
It's a
what that thing
woman
might
with
be.
wheels that I love. Yeah.
Come on, old man. I gotcha. Now, do something incriminating, like ambush somebody. Aha, the plot thickens.
Yeesh. You shouldn't have laughed at me in
Pretty
those board
brutal.
meetings, Malcolm.
What a psycho.
Gotcha. Hey, look what I found in the bushes.
What is that?
It's a chokehold. Come here and I'll demonstrate.
It's got a camera.
I'll get her.
No. Nestor will take care of her. You have an important engagement with the rest of the Corley family.
Right.
But don't forget to destroy that camera.
Yeah.
Now then, Malcolm, how about one for the road?
Corley?
Ben! I guess Ripburger couldn't wait for natural causes.
It's a pretty
Just like him to
ugly
hit a man
welt
when
on the
he's
side of his
flies
face.
down.
Ripburger did this to you?
Yeah, he knew I was dying, and he knew that my will would put him out of a job. He wants to take over Corley Motors, Ben. Sell it off to foreigners, lay off workers, start making minivans. You understand me? Minivans! Oh.
Oh, the horror.
You gotta hurt him for me, Ben. Promise me you'll hurt him bad.
I promise.
I want my daughter to take over the company.
You have a daughter?
Yeah, and she's a real mechanical genius, Ben. Rebuilt her first carburetor when she was 4. I used to call her the diaper dynamo. Find my daughter, Ben. Find Maureen.
Maureen?
Dun, dun, dun. Here's reflection in the toaster. So there's a couple of instances there of something that happens as
just
well
hope
with Grimm
Maureen can handle herself
and
until I get
the
there.
tentacle in the dialogue, throwing up certain bits of
Don't
information
understand.
that are
Why'd he bring a camera?
both providing context
Work for?
from things that have already
Holy
happened, and
motors.
so highlighting what's going to happen
Nestor,
further down the line.
what's that moving over there by that pile?
I don't know, Rip, but I think that pile is Bolus.
Yes, now I remember. You're the smart one, aren't you?
There's Mo's shack, but I don't see the limo. Maybe I beat them. On second thought, maybe I didn't. I don't have anything. Looks like someone searched this place in a hurry. Nothing left but debris, except for that smashed up camera. Back's open. No film inside. Mo said she didn't have a camera. Here's Mo's picture of her and her Uncle Pete at his mink ranch. She said she went there whenever she needed to get away for a while. That's pretty much my only lead right now.
Well, that's a pretty solid one. So let's follow that lead. Now we're going to head north, because that apparently is where the mink ranch is. Back at the kickstand.
Hey, killer.
What?
Hey, it's cool. Your secret's safe with me.
What secret?
Haven't you been watching the news?
Once again, our top story tonight, Malcolm Corley, owner of Corley Motors, was found dead at a rest stop just outside the town of
Dramatic
Melonweed.
delivery.
Apparently, the benevolent patriarch and CEO was viciously beaten about the head and neck, savagely and without mercy. Police have arrested a notorious outlaw biker gang known as the Polecats,
No.
with the exception of their leader, who is still at large. Roadblocks have been set up along Highway 9 in an effort to apprehend this dangerous and violent criminal.
We've been set up.
Roadblocks suck.
I shouldn't have left the gang there.
Hey, I don't want to hear anything about it. You ain't making me an accessory after the fact. Just lay low, man.
Okay, so the only other person in the bar right now is this dude who probably owns the truck that's outside. That's Emmett. Let's have a chat with Emmett.
I can do that.
Not gonna happen.
Now there is an Easter egg here that if you say to him 10 times that you can do that,
Good talking to you.
he will let you, and you get to play
Damn, it's
the
not
knife
what you
game.
call an
I'm not going to do that
okay
now, but yeah,
or
10 times. You
okay
just tell him 10 times that you can do
shut
that.
your hole, Quo-Hog.
He'll offer you the opportunity. The barman's name we found out there is Quo-Hog, which is a Moby Dick reference. So just before we make any progress inside, we need to head back to where it all began.
Over here! Ben, no time to talk.
You know, it stank in there, but I can't remember a better sleep.
You gotta help me. Go find my editor in Corville. Tell him I took pictures of the Corley murder.
You got pictures?
Yeah, but some thug took my camera.
So you don't have any pictures?
Well, I tracked the guy to Melonweed, but I'm not going near the place. They'd kill me. Get my editor. He's gotta get me out of this. Take one of these fake IDs to get through the roadblocks. My career is riding on those pictures. Help me, Ben. You're my only hope.
Oh, don't worry. I owe you one. If
Awesome.
Miranda's thug is the same one that trashed Moe's place, that could be Miranda's camera I saw there. But then, who's got the film?
One of the benefits of, at this time, having Star Wars and various game properties under the same roof was that they could happily reference Star Wars. It happens here. There, of course. Help me, Ben. You're my only hope. And there's a couple of Easter eggs as well, both here and in Day of the Tentacle. There's a couple of props that are used.
Here.
What's that?
Fake federal investigator ID. Could be of some use at one of those roadblocks. Ever hear of this place? Uncle Pete's Mink Ranch?
I remember there used to be some sort of weasel plantation or something up the road.
Down Highway 9 on the other side of them damn roadblocks. I used to pick up mink meat there real cheap and sell it to school lunch programs. That was a good scam.
So how about a ride? What if they search
What
the
a
back
tough
and
guy.
find my bike?
It's buried in a pile of concentrated fertilizer powder. Trust me, no one's gonna dig through that crap. Now you're gonna ride in the engine compartment.
The engine compartment?
Hey, I smuggle stuff in there all the time, and most of it's worth more than you. So stuff your carcass in there quick, and we might hit that mink up by
Get this
morning.
weird vibe from this
Better with
dude.
a
It's
stick
that
shift
like
than you are with a knife.
Zed
Yeah.
and the pawn shop owner from
Oh, great.
Quentin
Smells like you've got a
Tarantino's
fuel
Pulp Fiction.
leak. I love
It's,
engine fire.
He's one gimp away from being a total weirdo.
Sorry, sir. Only police vehicles beyond this point.
I'm with the feds, chump. Check it out.
Huh? What's this about?
Undercover agricultural sting operation.
What's in the back?
Fertilizer.
All right, move along.
Hope you rubes get your man.
We've stopped moving. Problem with your truck?
Loose hose, nothing big. I already pulled your bike out. It's sitting right over there. Well, nice knowing you. Gotta hit the road, you know.
He's in a bit of a hurry to leave, isn't he?
Uh-oh. He did have a fuel leak, and he took my fuel line to fix it. That trucker's gonna die for what he did.
Okay, so this is the ranch where Mo grew up after her father left. So we could probably find something around here to fix a fuel line. I can have a look at Mo's room, which is a little bit weird, perhaps. Here without Mo. But there we are. Let me take a look under the pillow, and there's a tire iron. And we can use the tire iron.
Junk. And a hose I can use on my bike. I don't think Mo would mind if I borrow him. Mo?
The plot thickens.
She took my booster fuel. Why is she running from me? She must think the whole world's against her. I think I know how that feels. That does it. He's dead.
Another of the Star Wars Easter eggs there.
That sign.
Emmett has a
That means I'm in
Imperial tattoo
cavefish
on his arm.
territory. Cavefish.
Sand people, style bikers. Well, looks like that's the end of Emmett for sure.
This cargo is worthless. We have been tricked, my brothers. Back to the cave.
The place looks deserted. Maybe the boss was wrong and she ain't coming here.
She's coming. We just got here first. That means all we have to do is sit here and wait.
Maybe I'll just take a little.
Take some fertilizer for reasons unknown. Okay, so as Ben almost flies off the edge of the bridge, so we get to here, we can see quite clearly that the bridge is out.
Something tells me the bridge is out.
Ben, I think you might be right. So we need a solution to this. We need to basically boost across the bridge, and for that we need 3 other items. It's that video game rule of 3. We need to get 3 items in order to fix up our bike and establish a ramp to get across this ravine. But we're going to leave it there for now. So that's the first hour-ish of a Full Throttle Remastered, which is now available on Xbox Game Pass, along with Day of the Tentacle and Grim Fandango. As I mentioned at the top, we have videos for those other 2 games up on our YouTube channel as well. So do check those out. Leave us a comment if you remember Full Throttle, if there's any particular fond memories that you have through watching this that takes you back to 1995, or perhaps more recently when this remaster was released. And yeah, if you want to hear more about 20 Double Fine years, exploring Double Fine's output and Tim Schafer's early games as well, do check out doublefinebook.com and subscribe. Find us on social media at Indie by Design, and we'll catch you next time. Stay safe.